Today I'm going to show you an I-cord cast on. So we're just going to start with 4 stitches. I have 4 stitches cast on here. I just used a knitted cast on, pretty simple, easy to do, lays flat. Now the problem right now is that our working yarn is feeding from the rightmost stitch and not the leftmost stitch. We've got our tail end over here in the left. So to do this on a circular needle, you're just going to take your stitches, hold them stable, while you pull your circular needle all the way through to the other end and then flip it around. So now you've got still the stitches on your left needle, but you've got your working yarn coming off here and tail end here. So to begin this, we're going to start, get this out of the way, we're going to start with knitting these 4 stitches. And as you knit them, your yarn is going to feed from the leftmost stitch across the back to your rightmost stitch. So we knit these 4, 2, 3, 4, and this becomes the right side of your work. Now from here on, you're not going to ever be flipping your work around. This will always be the right side. So again, we've got this problem where our stitches are on the wrong side. So if you're using a circular needle and just making a standard I-cord, you can, thread it to the other side. If you're using a double point, you can do the same thing. But the problem is that this one, we don't want to flip this at all. So we're going to take our left-hand needle and slip these 4 stitches back to the left-hand needle. So I'm slipping them as if to purl, using my left-hand needle to pick them up. So now we've got our working yarn on the left again, tail end here. Now this is the repeat that will allow you to cast on new stitches. You're going to strand your yarn across the back, just like normal, and knit into the front and the back of this first stitch. That gives you an increase. So we started with 4, now there's 5 stitches total, and you're going to knit to the end, which is 3 stitches. Okay, so now we have 5 stitches. We're going to transfer 4 of them back to the left-hand needle. Okay, and this is our first cast on stitch. So we're back to the original 4 for the I-cord and 1 extra, that's the cast on stitch. Let's do it again. Knit front and back and knit 3. Okay, and then slip 4 stitches back to the left-hand needle. And now we have 2 stitches cast on and our 4 stitches for the I-cord. So let's do it again. Knit front and back and knit 3. And slip 4 stitches back. Now when you're slipping these stitches, it can be really helpful to put some tension on your working yarn. With either hand is fine. Sometimes it's easier to just keep it wrapped tight in your left hand. The more tension you can put on that stitch, the less extra yarn you're going to put into this leftmost stitch. So you've already got some extra yarn going into the I-cord because of the float in the back every time you wrap it through. And you don't want too much extra going into it or the whole thing starts getting floppy. So keep some tension on there when you slip across, and then knit front and back and knit 3, and then slip 4 stitches. See, I've got tension back here on this working yarn, so slip those 4 stitches back to your left-hand needle. So now we've got 4 stitches cast on, 4 stitches in the I-cord. Let's get a few more rows on there, and then it can be a little easier to see what's happening on this cast on edge. So 3, and slip 4 stitches back, 3, 4, knit front and back, knit 3, and then slip 4 stitches back, knit front and back, knit 3, slip 4 stitches back to your left hand needle. Okay, so this is a good place to show you. We've got 7 stitches cast on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, and we've got the 4 stitches from the original I-cord, and when you give it a tug, everything kind of falls into place, but you can see that the I-cord wraps all the way around and the stitches feed off the side. So these are your cast on stitches, these are your original I-cord stitches, and with these live it's really easy to keep them going as, you know, a knitted in I-cord. The whole cast on edge gives you a really round, solid footing for the beginning of a piece. The Broadwind shawl is the pattern that I'm pairing this tutorial with. The Broadwind shawl actually picks up stitches from this beginning as well as using these stitches here to have I-cord all the way around the piece, which I think is really lovely. One thing to keep in mind, if you have other I-cord in your piece, you want your cast on to have one more stitch than the I-cord in the rest of your piece. So you actually needed that extra stitch in order to make your cast on edge. So if you have like a 3-stitch I-cord for the rest of the piece, you want to pair it with a 4-stitch I-cord for the cast on. So there you go, I-cord cast on.